My fellow Liberians, good evening tonight. Good evening tonight. My name is Simeon Freeman, and I'm the political leader of the MPC. We come to you Monday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Banner FM, OK FM, Sky FM, and Capital FM. We also come to you on Facebook via the Simeon Freeman Show. So you can like this page, you can share it, so that whenever we up, somebody will see it and follow the trend. The purpose of this program is to discuss Liberia's challenges, what the problems are, dating as far back as 100 years, and the solution. We believe if every person desirous of being president of Liberia adopt this trend, we will be in a stronger position to solve Liberia's challenges. 147 years later, we're still battling the same challenges. This week, we have been discussing, well, in the last 2 weeks, we've been discussing the three-barrel gun that's killing Liberia: debt, taxation, and inflation. So we've discussed taxation and inflation. Tonight, we're going to be starting with debt. How has debt harmed us as a country and our economy? We're discussing these things because as president, we will take a new trend that will be different from the old trend. But as is typical of me, I want to start with the questions, provide the answers. We'll be opening the line at 7:35, and our phone numbers are 0770-000-754. You can store those numbers there for the broadcast. 0555-000-754. Once you call those numbers, you will be permitted to access the show. We spoke about the issue last week, and a caller called and talked about what happened to our soil. We have lands. What is happening to our soil? There is nothing happening to our soil. In fact, Liberia has the highest rainfall rate in the world. The highest rainfall rate in the world, we have it in Liberia. And so we can do so much. The only reason why we are not productive is because every succeeding government has not been focused on creating an industrial base. We've always been focused on some other things that has not really created that level of competitiveness that we need for our country. So there is nothing wrong with our soil. Mr. Cole asked that question, Sanchi B. Cole. So there is nothing wrong with our soil, sir. Our soil is great. We have just about the highest rainfall rate in the world, one of the most fertile soils around. In fact, lots of lowlands, lots of highlands to plant everything from rice to corn to sugarcane. Liberia could be one of the largest sugar exporters in Africa and the world. Liberia could be one of the largest rice exporters. Liberia could be one of the largest maize exporters. Liberia could be one of the largest industrial base. But again, that's not our focus. Our focus has been on other things that has never added value. And so, in every respect, there is nothing wrong with the soil. Somebody said the problem in the country is not the president, it's our representatives that are not doing anything. Said that the problem in the country. I tend to agree with you as well, but I think the entire government is part of that structure. From the executive standpoint, the executive drives the vision for national development, because they control the ministries and agencies that implement all of these aspects. The legislators' role in this case is that they, during the time of passage of the budget, they pass the budget without ensuring that certain aspects of development is incorporated in the budget. And so that clearly make them also responsible. But the overall responsibility of the change in shift of any country is the president. And in the case of Liberia, the president is so powerful that he has a way and a say in who becomes speaker, who becomes president pro tempore, because lots of lobbying takes place. And so in every respect, all of these lobbying that takes place, sometimes they have to be, in many respects, enabled. And that's where the executive come to play. So I think in many respects, most of our problems has come from the both sources, but then the biggest burden rests on the executive arm of government. The gentleman called and we're talking about how privatization has helped Lone Star Cell. I mean, not Lone Star Cell, how it's helped the telecom sector. And so he said he's wondering why it has not extended, why this thing has not been extended to other sectors. Let me just give you some quick numbers tonight on the impact of the telephone services. That's, in spite of the direct number of employees working with the telephone services, which I have no idea what the numbers are. It could be 1,000. If you put the two companies together, it could be less than 1,000. But that's not the thing of impact. Those of you living in Monrovia and across Liberia, today you are woken up in the morning with Celcom data, Orange data, Lone Star data, all these things. The mobile phone service has become a source of massive employment for lots of people, thousands of people. And I'm waiting for probably for them to share those numbers. But what we know for mobile money agents, so mobile money agents in 2019 were 13,158. That number grew by 131% in 2020 to 30,506. If you use that same assumption, or you just moderated it to 100%, it means that we probably have up to, say, 70 to 90,000 mobile money agents across Liberia. This is serious. It means just the telephone sector alone has created so much jobs that it's become a source of taxation. So all of these mobile money agents are making money. Those who are selling the data are making money. Just by privatizing the telecom sector. And you will see tonight we're looking at debt. You will see how we've been borrowing money massively. I will take you as far back as 1977. I will take you even further beyond, so you can see how much money we've been borrowing, the purposes for which we borrowed that money, and think about it. Who goes to the bank to borrow money to buy clothes? Who goes to the bank to borrow money to buy shoes? Who goes to the bank to borrow money to buy lipstick or makeup? Nobody does that. But the government of Liberia, some of the things they borrow, because if you borrow money, you have to borrow money to invest in key issues. Many of the money that was borrowed in Liberia doesn't add up. But, before I come to that, I just want to deal with this. Imagine what would happen if we were to privatize the Liberia Electricity Corporation, where we broke up the whole structure into power generators and power sellers. So that means we have one corporation that is a power generator, And that generator, the Liberia Electricity Corporation, which can be privatized, solely run by private actors, but then it sells the power like Lone Star sells or Orange sells Strashka. So that means you're going to have multiple power sellers. Once I pay for the power, so let's say I pay for 1 megawatt, or I pay for 50 kilowatt, or I pay for 25 kilowatt, I can sell it. So the technology can be structured in a way that you buy it, you sell it. So once you sell it, you're good to go. It means that you're going to have multiple resellers. So instead of LEC waiting, LEC can pre-sell like Strashka is sold, and the different kilowatts can be sold and broken down. Almost like you have $5, $10 Strashka. Imagine how many resellers you're going to have across the country. More besides, you can have multiple power generators. You know, we spend some time on privatization because under our Simeon Freeman presidency, we're going to encourage people with 500 kVA generator, 250 kVA generator to start generating, so that they can be able to sell that through a power distribution network, so that we will create multiple jobs from water and sewer. One day water flow, the next day it doesn't flow. One day LEC flow, the next day it doesn't flow. One day it flows, it burns everything in your house, and all those kinds of things. We need to privatize these sectors. Look, we've been borrowing money for LEC, I don't know how long. During the Madam Sally time, we spent more than $350 million on LEC. Through direct budgetary support, we spend almost $100 million. Through the Millennium Challenge Fund, we won $263 million, which was also spent. We also pump money into that. In every respect, where are we with the LEC? LEC is still barely surviving. If you look in the last year's budget, this year, 2021-2022 budget, LEC is still being subsidized. So in every respect, we continuously subsidize. The same thing that was happening with LTC. We kept subsidizing LTC, subsidizing it, and it was never competitive. When the private sector took over, then things changed. So we need to move away from that archaic method of governing the country, where we have all these liabilities and money that should be used to add critical value to our people is used for nothing significant. So look, under our Simeon Freeman presidency from day one, these are the things that will be done. We'll do massive privatization on all fronts. So let me now go to the core issues that we'll be discussing tonight. It's now 7:13. I hope I can take about 20 minutes to do this quickly. If not, we'll just have to draft it a little bit. So let me just see here. So let me give you some numbers. This is from terms of loan contracted July 1, 1976 to December 31, 1978. So you can take your pen and paper. I'll be reading a little fast because I want to catch up with time, or better still, I think I'll go slow. If I have to spread this over 2 days, over 2 terms, I will do that so that we have a lot more people understanding these issues. So Liberia have always been a country to borrow. But borrowing itself is not bad. As a businessman, I can tell you, you borrow to expand. But when you borrow the money for nothing serious, then that means you've acquired debt, and that debt becomes a long-term burden on taxpayers. So if you're sitting and watching me tonight, and you say, my brother, if government borrows, what do I have to do with it? Let me break it down for you. When the government borrows, the government needs to increase taxation in order to collect more revenue to pay that money they've borrowed. Every time government borrow, you better be worried because you are the one paying. So every time there's taxation, it taxes you every time you have an income. You are taxed in order to pay that money. Nobody else pays the money. A government makes money from nothing else but from taxing its people. So the government takes money from taxing you that's working in the economy directly. Businesses operating within the country. The government taxes you in order to raise sufficient revenue firstly to operate and then pay that debt. So if the government borrow money for the wrong reason, obviously it's your headache. Not just now, but for a long time to come. So when I gave you this schedule, you will see some of the debts taken in 1976 terminates in 2028. Some of them terminate in 1997. Some of them terminated in 1985. Luckily for us, though, by I think 2009 or 2010 or so, there was a debt waiver, but not all of that debt was waived. So there was about, I think, $3 billion or $4 billion waived from Liberia of most of the debt, but it's not all of the debt that was waived. Some of them remain because some of those things came from certain private institutions. Some of the other multilateral institutional debts were waived, but not all of them. But the private debt, some of them were resold on the secondary market, and there's still issues for us to pay. So let me not take up much of your time. In 1977, January 11, the government of Liberia borrowed $30 million. That's a euro-dollar issue for a term of 7 years, grace period, 2 years grace period, interest rate 2%, commitment fee 3.4%, and the maturity date for that loan was January 11, 1987. The purpose of that loan was to finance capital requirements for public corporations. So we're setting up public corporations, and we wanted to finance their capital requirements. So we're setting up government entities, public corporations, and we took money, $30 million, to finance them. Obviously, most of those public corporations were were poorly run, and so we did not generate money from them. Rather, they became long-term liability. So while we wore the debt on our head, we still to today still financing some of those same public corporations, inclusive of the LTC. We go to now March 5, 1997. We borrowed $2,064,000 from the ADB for 5 years, grace period 2 years, interest rate 7%, 3% commitment fee, payment period, payment maturity, January 1, 1992. And this money was borrowed for the Liberian Bank and for Development Investment Credit Expansion. So this money was put into LBDR to expand credit. On August 30th, 1977, we borrowed $4,949,280 from the Midland Bank for 5 years, grace period 2 years, interest rate 9.5%, no commitment fee, and that was supposed to terminate in 1982. We basically used that to acquire a Hawker Siddeley airplane. I don't know what to do with that airplane, but that's what it says here. On September 3rd, 1977, we took up a loan of $500,000 from the USA government for 4 years. 1 year grace period, interest rate fluctuating. That means it's not constant. It was based on moving rates of the feds. No commitment fee. That loan terminated in 1981, and it was for military assistance. So to support the army, they gave us a loan. September 15, 1977, we took a loan of $5.5 million from Samuel's Glory, 2 years, term repayment, grace period 1.5 years, so we're supposed to pay that money in about 6 months. Interest rate was 3%, and the commitment fee was 3%. The payment for that loan should have terminated by 1979. We bought it for the ship. We got that loan for the shipping industry. I think that's the money we used to invest in the shipping company at the time. Now, October 12th, 1977, we borrowed $500,000 from the United States government for a term of 4 years, 1 year moratorium, again, interest rate fluctuating. It should have been paid by 1981, again, for military assistance. 1978, January 23rd, we borrowed $2,600,000 from ADB for a term of 17 years, a grace period of 3 years, interest rate of 8%, commitment fee of 4%. Then the payment should have expired by 1995. This was taken for Monrovia water supply. So for the enhancement of the Monrovia Water and Sewer Corporation, that today cannot give you water. April 30th, 1978, we borrow another $2,587,150 from Citibank, USA, for 7 years, 2 years grace period. The interest was 3%. The commitment fee, 3%. Payment matures by 1985. We took this loan to buy a Boeing aircraft. I guess that's when they established Air Liberia. I have comments on these, but I will come to that. May 31, 1978, we borrowed $7,800,000, again from Citibank, for 7 years, 2 years moratorium, grace period, 2 years grace period, with an interest rate of 3%, a commitment fee of 3%. Payment was to mature in 1985, and we took it for Agrimingo, or some agricultural infrastructure back then. We'll come to that. On the same May 31, we borrow again from Citibank $10 million for the same 7 years, 2 years grace period, interest rate of 3%, commitment fee of 3%. The loan matured in 1985, and it was taken to build the Matadi housing estate. On June 2, 1978, we took $11 million, $543,850 from Citibank and the Exim Bank for 10 years, no grace period, interest rate 8.5%. Commitment fee, that means the first amount we pay is 3%. That loan matured by 1988. Again, it was taken for a Boeing aircraft. June 12, 1978, we took a loan of $3,900,000 from Badea, that's Badea, for 13 years, with a grace period of 3 years, interest rate of 7%, commitment fee of 0.5%, and that loan matured by 1991 for the fourth power. June 14, 1978, we took a loan of $3,200,000 from the same Badea for 14 years, with a grace period of 4 years and 5% interest rate with a commitment fee of 0.5%. That loan matured by 1992, and it was for the Liberian Free Zone expansion. By July 18, 1978, we borrow again $7,500,000 from the Kuwait Fund for 18 years. They gave us a 4-year moratorium with an interest rate of 3.5%, no commitment fee, was supposed to mature by 1996 for road rehabilitation. August 9, 1978, we borrowed $15 million from the chemical bank. And it was for LPRC, I mean the LPRC acquisition. September 27, we borrowed $5 million from the ADB, 8% interest rate, 3% commitment fee for forestry development. September 9, 1978, we borrowed $60 million from the Eurodollar 2 for a rate, a term of, for a period of 8 years with a grace period of 2 years, 2.5 years, and our interest is 8%. That loan matured by 1986, and it was to refinance Liberia's development. December 19, 1978, we did a $3 million loan again from OPEC this time for 20 years. 2 years grace period, interest rate of 4%, zero commitment fee, should have matured by 1998 for, again, another fourth highway. 1976, July 6, we borrowed $3 million. We borrowed $3 million from the Kuwait Fund for 20 years, 10 years grace period, 2% interest rate, 4% commitment fee, and that loan should have matured by 1996. This loan was used for the Greenville Harbor extensions. July 6, we borrowed, 1976, we borrowed $5,814,798.66 from the Kuwait Fund for 20 years. They're giving us a 10 years moratorium, meaning it will be 10 years later, would have been 10 years later before we begin to pay. Interest rate was very moderate, 2%, but our commitment fee was 1.4%, and 1996 was the final payment for Buchanan water supply. 1977, again, February 8, we borrowed $5,473,736 from the Kuwait Fund, and that was for 30 years, 10 years moratorium, 2% was the interest rate, 1.4% was the commitment fee, and that loan matured by 2007. 6 cities water supply. We borrow again, 1977, April 29, $7 million from the IDA for 50 years, 10 years moratorium at 0 interest rate, but 3.4% commitment fee, and that was supposed to terminate in 2027. We haven't hit 2027 yet. I don't know what is one of the loans that was written off for Upper Bunk Agricultural Development. On May 5, 1977, we borrowed $4,342,860 from the ADB for 28 years, 5 years moratorium, 4% interest rate, 3.4% commitment fee. Should have terminated by 2005, the Southeastern Education Project. September 9, 1977, we borrow, May 26, 1977, we borrow $6,300,000 from the IBRD for 20 years, International Bank for Reconstruction Development. 20 years, 5 years moratorium, 8.2%, 0 commitment fee. We should have paid up by 1996 for third education project. September 9, 1977, we borrowed $5.2 million from USAID for 40 years. 10 years moratorium. For 10 years, we would have paid 2%. Another 30 years, we'll pay 3%. No commitment fee. That loan should have terminated by 2017 for the Brewerville Bopolu Road. December 29, we borrowed $7 million from the IDA for 49 years, 10 years moratorium, zero interest rate, with a commitment fee of 3%. That loan matures in 2026, Upper Bunk Agricultural Development. So bear with me. We're still on this. 1978, January 1, we borrowed $6,600,000 from USAID for 39 years, 10 years grace period. For 10 years, we agreed to pay 2%. Another 20 years, we agreed to pay 3%. No commitment fee. That loan would have matured by 2017 for the Upper Bunk Agricultural Development. January 6, 1978, we borrowed another $6.6 million from the EEC, at that time with the European Economic Commission, for 39 years. 10 years moratorium at an interest rate of 1%. No commitment fee should have been paid by 2017, and that's for the Tatu Ken, Carlo Ken Road. April 21, 1978, we borrowed $7 million from the IBRD again. This time for 19 years with a 5 years moratorium, 8.2% interest rate, 3% commitment fee. That loan should have matured by 1997 for rubber development in Liberia. On the same April 21, we borrowed $6 million from IDE for 50 years. 10 years moratorium, 10 years grace period, zero interest rate, but our commitment fee was 3%. That loan should terminate by 2028 for rubber development. June 2, we borrowed $13,800,000 from the IBRD for 20 years with a 5 years grace period, 7.5% interest rate, 3% commitment fee. It should have been paid by 1998 for the 4th highway again. June 12, 1978, we borrow, June 9, 1978, we borrow $7,128,275 from the CDC for 19 years, 6 years moratorium, 6 years grace period, at an interest rate of 7.1%, with a commitment fee of 3%, should have terminated by 1997 for rubber development. On June 12, we borrowed $9 million from the Saudi fund for 11 years. 5 years grace period was given at a rate of 2%. No commitment fee. It should have been paid by 1989. Tottenham Bridge Bombing Road. By June 28, 1978, we borrowed $23 million from the China government, the People's Republic of China, PRC, for 22 years. 10 years grace period was given, and the interest rate, no interest rate, no commitment fee, and we should have paid up by the year 2000. We borrowed our money for our development infrastructure. July 7, 1978, we borrowed. When I exhaust this, then I will stop and give you some quick background because time is running out. So July 28, July 7, we borrow $10 million from the IBRD for 20 years, 5 years, grace period, 7.5% interest rate, 3% commitment fee. Should have been paid by 1998 for the fourth power. Then, July 28, we borrow $6 million from the IDA for 50 years, 10 years, grace period, no interest, 3% commitment fee, should be paid up by 2028 for the forestry development. September 4, 1978, we borrowed $3,430,335 from the Kuwait Fund for 30 years, 10 years grace period, 2% interest rate, 1.4% commitment fee. That should have been paid up by 2008, and it was borrowed for the Liberia Electricity Corporation. We didn't stop there. On September 7, we borrowed another $6,170,000 from the European Investment Bank for the same LEC. Then, on November 30th, 1978, we borrowed $5,800,000 from the Kuwait Fund for us to host the OAU, Organization of African Unity at the time. Now it's the EU. So you can see, every step of the way, that's what's killing our people. We borrow for every little development. The last series, we took you, and you saw that all of the money collected from the budget is spent on the governance process. The same thing is happening today. If you look in our entire budget, all of the money is spent on, okay, Mr. Jackson Kohler, I'm adding you. Okay, just send your link again, Jackson. I was reading from this figure, so I missed it. Just send that link again, please. So you see, every time we want to commit to development, we borrow. The Banga, the Monrovia Ganta Highway, we spent about $264 million on that road. We borrow almost all of that money. Some of it was given as grant, some we borrowed. We heavily indebted. Today we owe a little over $1 billion. We still borrow. In this last budget, we borrow about 140. I think we borrow out of 140 something million dollars somewhere where grant or so. So for every major development, what do? We borrow. Major development, we borrow. So whatever money we collect, whenever we want to develop, we borrow. We borrow money for Hotel Africa. We borrow money for bridges. We borrow money for creating public sectors. Every step of the way. All of those monies. You see the payment term? Who you think pay? You, the people, us, we pay. Open the line. Let's take the calls, please.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Kohler, you got calls? Mr. Kohler, can you hear me?
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
Okay, so please call us on 077. Call us on 0770. Let me just read the numbers out to you. To participate, 0770-000-754 or 0555-000-754. You can have your say, call us, and we will take your queries and our comments. When you get a call, just alert me. So you see, every step of the way, every development.
Hello?
You have a caller?
Hello? Hello, your name, where are you calling from? Hello?
Okay, just let the caller go. I guess you'll call back. So you can see, in order for us to finance the Hotel Africa, July 14, 1978.
Hello, your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ryan Jefferson, as always, and I call from Cardwell.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Freeman. How are you this evening?
Good evening, sir. I'm good.
Like I usually say, I always listen to the Freeman. I'm always amazed by some of the things he provides. But I have a specific question. I hope you can explain it. Mr. Freeman, all of these that choir, is this part of the epic day every day? Except for concerts that I go unaware, we're not able to get any loan for which you have to waive it. And the next thing I would love for you to provide, what can the government under Mr. Freeman do so that we cannot continue depending on borrowing money to help us just to continue borrowing without a fee. I think we must depend on our resources that are in this country to help the government move forward. As I always say to Mr. Freeman, it's always a pleasure because you don't always give us the problems or provide adequate solutions to the problem. Thanks so very much, Mr. Freeman. God bless you. Thank you to your host.
Thank you. Take us in. Hello, your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, this is Martin C. Jackson.
Oh, Marcy.
I'm Leo. Yeah, Martin C. on the line. Let me say hi to my brother.
Marcy, how are you? I'm good.
Let me say thank you to Mr. Freeman, yeah. What I want to say to my son Jackson, Mr. Freeman said it all. No, the past leadership that will be president in this country for over some more years. They have put up behind. They've seen the message for Freeman saying, that is right thing saying. But every leader come and leadership start when they come, they bring their own thing on the board. So all the people are the other people, I hope and pray that the people will stand by him to go to the city. Because the open the rainbow eyes, what he's saying that is true. All the things he's saying is about if the rainbow grow by 8 tomorrow, when we borrow money, I want to say. I want to say to Mr. Freeman, let you consider on the staff, what they will have all say, well, what is we people and what choose. The leader who wants to for the city. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Marcy. Thank you for always patronizing the program. Liberia, we really need to change our approach if we'll go anywhere. Imagine Hotel Africa. Hotel Africa, we borrowed money, we borrowed $9 million, July 14, 1978 for Hotel Africa to build that Hotel Africa that is today lying derelict. We didn't just borrow $9 million, we borrowed another $5 million just to host the OAU. Who does that? Instead of borrowing money to develop rice fields in Liberia, instead of borrowing money to add value to rice, instead of borrowing money to create factories in Liberia, we're borrowing money for the wrong reason. Even this LEC, we got $263 million, all right, from the Millennium Challenge Cup. We added money to it as well. They brought to Ganta. That money, $264 million US was borrowed just to build that road. You know, that's so much money. The current Roberts Fee Highway, we borrow money. Go ahead.
Your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jim Marcus Flomo. I'm calling from my vehicle.
Okay, Mr. Flomo, you go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to comment Mr. Freeman again today for, the topic on the discussion, especially when it comes to this situation.
Okay.
And, like I said the other day, that's what we're not going to do, honestly, because this is another form of voter education.
Okay.
He's selling himself, to the Liberian voters. And as time goes by, gradually, who knows, the voters will start, realizing that he's somebody that has vision for our country, and he means well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And we really are encouraged by those kinds of comments. And we know, God's willing, 2023, Liberia is going to have a different story, and our moment for redemption will avail itself. Thank you so much. So, like we're saying, all of this borrowing, every time we want to commit to development, Mr. Jackson, I lost you. So just resend your link, please, so we can give callers an opportunity. I don't know what happened at your end. Just kindly resend your link so that we can reconnect you. Borrowing. Every step of the way, That's all we do, borrow. So when we continuously borrow, we don't help ourselves. Mr. Jackson, I'm adding you back again. So you soon see me. Please let the callers have the say. It's now 7:45. Callers, please call. And have your say on 0770 000754, 0555 000754. Peter, I'm adding you, so it says it's adding you. Maybe the internet at your end is a little slow. So I'll just let you get added so that we can have people get through you. Discussing the issues of Liberia, all of this debt. All of this debt. It's a serious issue. All of this debt. It creates long-term. If you're adding debt, and the debt that you're adding is going to enhance our competitiveness.
Hello, your name? Where are you calling from?
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Sparks.
Okay, Gabriel, you go ahead. You're allowed.
Okay, I want to say hi up to Mr. Freeman.
Yep.
Thank him so much for the education he's providing. But I want to ask a quick question. With this knowledge, if he doesn't win 2023, it's possible for him to join whatever party that will succeed so that we can be able to move Nigeria forward. Because what we need now, we need people with the knowledge of such so that we can be able to move this country forward. Because I believe all of the information that he's providing presently, many Liberians do not have any idea of all of these things. And so this country needs people with the insight and the professional and technical ability to help move this country forward.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily mean occupying the office of the presidency. So that's why I want to ask him, if he doesn't succeed come 2023, can he join whatever party that will emerge so that we can move this country forward?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We're very open to working with anybody. Even now, we're very open to working, to assisting the current administration to provide
Hello, your name?
solutions.
Where are you calling from? Hello?
My name is Harrison Ibesia. I call you from the grounds of the Republic of Liberia, Upper Far West, Ohio.
Okay, you go ahead. You're allowed.
All right. I just want to say a big thank you to Mr. Freeman. I've been following him for some.
Hello? Hello? Mr. Peter Jackson, are you there? Jackson Kola, are you there? Mr. Jackson, are you there? I'm losing you. Mr. Jackson, please send your link. Mr. Jackson, please send your link. It's now 7:49, so we still got about 10 more minutes to let people call. Tonight, if you're just joining us, my name is Simeon Freeman. I'm the political leader of the MPC. And we're discussing the issue of debt. Debt is a long-term liability. If you borrow money, even for a private business, you borrow money from the bank, and the purpose of that money is to ensure that if you borrow money, and the purpose of that money is to ensure that there is return on investment, because you actually are investing in truly bankable projects. So let's take it for example. Do you have some calls there?
No.
Okay, good. So call us on 0770-000-754 or 0555-000-754. This is the Simeon Freeman Show on Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook. You can also follow us on OKFM, Capital FM.
Yes, this is my show. Your name, where are you calling from?
This is Christopher Mumbo, a former schoolmate from Lutheran Training Institute.
Okay,
So, thank you. Yeah. You know, the problem, I always like to hear you when you're talking about economic issues.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I'm interested in about politics when we talk about the political economy. Simeon, I think one leader that I learned about is President William Aaron Tugboat.
Okay.
He did his best when it comes to, you know, his decision and what he did bringing in factories in the country. So I hope that, you know, you can reflect on that for us, so that at least we can, you know, push ahead, because industrial development leads to modernization from my background of sociology. Thank you, Samuel.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a while since I saw you. Thank you so much. And yes, we do have a show, a part of the show, probably on the next series, where we'll look at industrial development. How do we industrialize our country? We're definitely going to look at that. We've discussed a portion of that before.
Hello, your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. This is Agabus Dennis. I'm calling you from Rani Oro.
Okay, Mr. Dennis, yep. Lower your monitor or leave your noise and we'll get you on.
Okay, yeah. I'm calling from Oro, and I'm Agabus Dennis.
Oh, you're loud? Quiet.
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Freeman very much for. Yeah, okay. All right. You got me now?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay. I'm asking Mr. Freeman, with this very good ideas by his dad, will he continue to wait on the fence until he's elected as president before he can make, you know, this plan work? What my suggestion is in this life is that if let him find his serve, he got a party, political party, let him find his serve as a representative or a senator, and so that he can help. But if he continue to be outside and then continue to find these kinds of ideas, they will never take any effect or make any effect. So I'm asking him to please. He got to this coming election. He can either run as a senator and representative. Let him get involved deeply. I agree with him. If he sits out there, continue to say these things, my brother is not going to make any impact. They are very good, very excellent plan. But let him get there. He should not wait. Let's say, for example, why is he not elected president until he dies? So he go with his good idea and good plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comment.
Thank you for that comment, sir. We'll deal with that. Thank you. Thank you so much. We want to give people the time to call. So if you don't hear me respond to your comments or question, please turn up. This is our last edition for this week. Turn up again on Monday of next week for us to give you answers.
Hello, your name? Where are you calling from? Your background, hello? Your background is not.
Hello?
Yeah, you got too much noise in the background.
Yeah, I was walking along the road.
Okay, come again, your name?
You get me, sir?
Yeah, I'm getting your name. Call your name and where?
I thought my name is Marco. I'm calling for. I call you for trouble.
Okay, Marco, you go ahead.
Appreciate the honorable man. I always say this, and I will continue to say this. I support the vision of this country, and I'm one person that I would like to work again, because I think this is have the impact will want to be, I think our country will move forward. This is why I was asking what the such a man.
Okay.
And also for me, I've been following the show. Yeah, the show I've been following and I've been following all while you're in. So I took that issue that is because of Nigeria, and then to share out the soul of my young friend.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to ask in this country, because my young guys are explained to, and then they see reason to pass petition to. I told them, so I start asking, so I want to give him.
Ahmed is breaking up a
Okay.
lot. Can you hear him? So whatever you are saying, we didn't get the question. You can just kindly call back so that we can be able to get the answers for you. So kindly call back. But participate with us. We usually let the call segment. We don't normally talk. We give you the opportunity to call and for us to provide answers. So call us on 0770 000754 or 0555 000754. This is the Simeon Freeman Show. We're coming to you via Facebook and Banner and on Banner FM, OK FM, Capital FM, and Sky FM.
Hello?
Good evening. Yeah, hello?
Hello, yeah. Okay, my call, you can go ahead with the question. You know, when you get the question, your background.
Yeah, as I was saying,
No?
I would like to work with Mr. Freeman based on his vision that he has for the country.
Yeah.
Because I know within myself, if the ground we want to be, I think our country will move forward. And I'd like to work with such a person that they will have a vision to get on our country to the lawful path. And in so doing,
Okay.
I also want part of sharing this vision with some of my young guys.
Okay.
So I would like to ask Mr. Freeman, if he in country for me to meet him face to face and we can discuss with people on board. My friends is I. Yeah. So a question there. So you get it clear.
Okay, we're going to call
Absolutely.
you. We're gonna
Absolutely, no problem. James will call you.
I
James
think
will call you immediately.
you can reach, I think when the same party, most of it call me.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know if I think no matter way.
Okay, the chairman, okay.
Okay,
So
the
James
chairman.
will call you.
To decide for my guys and how to meet him. So I think it will be next week. So we can sit down and discuss all matter.
Okay,
So
thank
to
you.
bring people on board.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And James will call you. James, kindly take note of that and call the gentleman. Kindly take note and call the gentleman so that we can engage with him. We just got up 2 more minutes, so we want to give it to the callers. We're coming to you, the Simeon Freeman Show, discussing the future of Liberia, problems and solutions. So those of you that have asked questions tonight, kindly tune in on Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 through these meetings, Banner FM, Sky FM, Capital FM, and OK FM, when we'll be providing you the kinds of answers that you need to move our country forward. 1 more minute left. If you have a say, you can call us 0770 000754 or 0555 000754. Interestingly, we discussed borrowing tonight, debt, which is one of the burden on our country, the 3 barrel gun. We've done this series. We talk about debt, we talk about taxation, we talk about inflation. So tonight and after tonight and the previous nights, you know some of the challenges haunting our country. And we are very open to providing additional information and solution that will move our country forward. So in every respect, we want to thank the many people that listen to the show, callers that call, people that do not call, people that listen and take notes, people that observe, people that are now admire us. We want to say thank you. People that follow us online, those who make comments for and against, we thank you because it makes the environment healthy. It's not 8 o'clock. We stuck to a 1 hour deadline. And so we want to say thank you again for following and to say thanks to the many radio stations that carry us as well. You have a blessed night. Thank you to my co-hosts, James and Peter. You guys have a great night out there, and I'll see you guys next week back in Monrovia. Bye. Thank you. Bye.